Good morning, everyone. We're here for mat class this morning. Um, and we'll start lying down on the floor. Grab your normal group of props. You want something for inner thighs. A squishy play ball works, yoga block works. And then maybe a flex band and a set of dumbbells. Really, all you need is yourself and a spot to lie down. So long as you've got that, you're good. Let's go ahead and stretch out on the ground. And you can have your legs straight or bent at first. I'll join you for the warm up here. So I'll let you have a moment to arrange your things. And then we'll lie on the ground. I'm going to keep my knees bent and have my feet a little bit wide so I can let the knees drop in. This is often called a constructive rest position. And really, we do want to find that restful position so that we can focus on the breath at first, because it's the foundation of our work. So relaxing into the floor. Try as much as possible to release any sort of tension in the body. And tension is sneaky, right? You can have long held tension in the hips and the neck and the back. Pardon me, a little froggy this morning. So we're going to let all that go and truly feel like as the muscles soften, the spaces between the bones get more open or expanded. And then in our mind's eye, as we breathe in and out, you want to imagine that the breath can move through the bones and the joints as well as through the muscles. Well, inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. And as you breathe in and out, feel your center. And here I'm talking about really the space around the navel area and downward into the front of the pelvis. Feel your center gently rising and falling. You don't have to make that happen. You can let it happen. Each time you exhale, get a sense of the bones actually getting longer up and down your length. And in particular, the bones at the bottom of the pelvis, pubic bone, tailbone, the two sitting bones side to side, those bones dropping down, getting a little heavier toward your feet, and then gathering a little inward toward each other across the base of pelvic floor. Focus on just that for a couple more exhales. You breathe out and release the weight of the bones downward. At the end of the exhale, they gently gather inward under the bottom of the pelvis. And do that one more time. Now on your inhale, feel like the support in pelvic floor lifts up into the body, rising toward the level of the navel. Changing focus on your exhale, returning to that lengthening of the bones downward and that final gathering inward. Combine it with this lift through pelvic floor support as you inhale. Now, our cueing recently has been we lift pelvic floor to meet the inhale as the inhale descends the length of our torso. And then from that center point where they meet, you feel the exhale expanding, lengthening both downward through the pelvis and upward through the spine into the crown. Gathering at the base of the pelvis at the end of the exhale, then we inhale, lift pelvic floor up, meeting the breath as it drops. From the center point, expand, and take 3 or 4 more breaths to find the sensation before we get to work here. Not confusing pelvic floor lift with shoulder lift or low back or hip tightness. We're very specific. Do 2 more rounds of inhale and exhale. Last one. And then if your knees are straight, bend them. And if your feet and hips are in some other arrangement than parallel, go ahead and correct that as well. We're going to put the ball between the knees or inner thighs. And again, return to exhale focus as we imprint and release a few times. Have the feet parallel and placed close enough or not too far away so that your pelvis can move and you don't feel any drag in one direction or the other. And then inhale and look for pelvic floor support. As you exhale, feel the bones lengthening. Begin to squeeze the ball and contract the lower abs to flatten the lower spine toward the mat. Inhale and release to a neutral position. And continue to look for pelvic floor support, lifting inward. And go through 4 more. Bones lengthen first. Lower abs contract as inner thighs squeeze. Still relaxed through the neck and through your length. Inhale, return to neutral. 3 more, and the last one will keep, the last imprint, that is. Returning to neutral as the inhale moves down towards your center point. From that center point, remember to stretch and then apply inner thighs and lower abs. Now this next imprint, this last one, please stay there. Not sinking into the pelvis, not pulling up through your low back. Feel the whole spine lengthened from your center point, top to bottom. And the muscles of the back spreading wide side to side as they release into the supportive ground. On your next exhale, as you keep your imprint, please squeeze the inner thighs a little bit more firmly and target the lower ab contraction. You might even put your fingertips inside the hip points on the front of the pelvis. Relax a little bit on your inhale, enough to give primacy to that Kegel. And then exhale, squeeze again through inner thighs, contracting more firmly through lower abs. Do this 2 more times, relaxing a little bit. And then squeezing a little bit, all without adding contribution from the back or the shoulders or tightness in the chest or hips. Do a final squeeze and keep the squeeze through the inner thighs as you also keep the squeeze into your lower abs, still imprinted here. And then without changing the placement of your feet, exhale, lift your heels, not pushing your weight into your head or falling down into your pelvis, continuing to stretch. Inhale, Kegel, heels lower, we're still imprinted. Continuing here in imprint, exhale, lift your heels as you spread the breath from that center point up and down your leg. Inhale, lower. Now we'll lift the heels 1 more time and stay there as well. Exhale, lift those heels up, releasing the back of the neck. And then with heels lifted, you might even come onto the tips of your toes. Hold this, and on the next exhale, activate your arch with your inner thighs as you squeeze the ball more firmly and target your low abs. Utterly relax your upper body. Inhale, soften the squeeze and do this 2 more times. Exhale, active through your feet and inner thighs. Squeezing the ball, looking for the response in low belly. Looking also for that length. Squeeze one more time. Exhale. Soften the front of the hips, the outside of the hips. Inhale, soften the squeeze on the ball. And then exhale, lower the heels to the ground. Inhale, return to neutral. With or without weights, extend the arms forward to the ceiling. And I'm going to use my weights here. So don't lose that sense of firmness and solidity in the lower body. We'll begin just with simple arm reaches back. Prepare here, arms forward toward the ceiling, inside of the wrists facing each other, neutral posture. And on the exhale, hold position and lightly squeeze the ball, holding neutral as well. On your inhale breath, feel the kegel lifting inward, the breath dropping downward as the arms reach back. On the exhale breath, squeeze the ball, spread the breath up and down through your length from your center point as you bring the arms forward to where you started from. So roughly speaking, we're inhaling to reach back. And exhaling to return to where we started from with all the connections we've built intact. Do 3 more, reaching. Feel a stretch and a loosening or an elasticity through the lats. So one of the things we're trying to do here is open up the lat muscles and to allow a little bit of stretchiness on the plane or in the plane between shoulder blades and rib cage while we still keep the rib position. Stretch the arms back. And exhale, return, arms all the way forward. Listening along as we change. Put the weights down. And now put the hands under the back of your head. So here we definitely have that stretched position through the bottom of the shoulder blades. We're going to think of the shoulder blades remaining in place and then the ribs and spine curving or stretching through them. We have a guest visitor here. On your inhale, nod your chin downward. On your exhale, spread the breath up and down your legs, squeeze your ball, and bend forward without using your lats to lift your chest. Hold the position at the top. Inhale and exhale to lower. So as we're using the biceps and a little bit of hand strength to support the head, we're avoiding using the lats to haul the upper back forward. Instead, we're using the obliques to bend the rib cage. Please continue through 3 more repetitions, total of 5. Inhale, nodding. Squeeze the ball on exhale, stretch and bend. Stretch on your way back down to the floor. Inhale, nod. Exhale, bend. And 1 more. When you've lowered the last time, go ahead and take your arms out from under your head and just kind of shake them out. So if you were doing that, according to SPAC, your biceps got a fair amount of work just holding the weight of your head. Shake that out. If your arms jiggle, no big deal. Mine jiggle too. And then rest those arms down by your sides. We're going to roll over onto our side and continue through spinal rotation. You can use a weight or not, and you want to pad a little bit under the side of your head here. Lying off onto one side, we've recreated neutral posture, including the gaze. So we take the gaze directly forward, and we're going to give a little bit of a squeeze to the ball on our preparatory exhale as we open the chest. As you inhale, turn the head upward and lift the arm. And now exhale, open into that deeper twist. Top shoulder and side of the ribs falling back, bottom arm reaching along the floor. Inhale here. And then exhale and return. And so there's a lot of movement going on outside. We'll do a couple more. Make sure that you have the inner connection. Hold, inhale fully, and then exhale, return. And do a third and final repetition. Turn the head upward, lift the arm. Exhale, open. Hold, breathe in. And exhale, return to where you started from and roll over to the other side. I like a ball between the knees. It gives something to squeeze. It also provides a little bit of spacing for the hips that I think for me keeps them out of tension. So try it out if you haven't yet. Only prepare with that exhale, squeezing the ball. And then on the inhale from the other side, lift the arm, turn the head, exhale, and open into twist. Breathe in and exhale, return. Now, when you exhale, in particular on the return phase of the movement, be careful not to grip or pinch the back in the area behind the heart or in the low back. We want the twist and the return from twist to be mediated by the abs. Moving through your set of 3, continue on your own timing, almost there. When you've returned from that last one, come onto hands and knees. I'm going to keep the ball between my knees here. We'll do just a couple of cat stretches, literally a couple. So from hands and knees, when you've centered the shoulders forward and back, up and down, we'll pause in that neutral position and soften the wrists, create a little dome under your palms, and keep the elbows soft. Inhale and feel that Kegel lifting up through the length of your body towards your navel. And then as you exhale, begin to apply the lower abs and roll the pelvis through the inner thighs, creating an angry or spooked cat curve sequentially through the top of your head. Dropping the top of your head down, inhale here, feel that deep curve at the bottom of the ribs, and then exhale, return through neutral. And we're again applying the lower abs along with the inner thighs. In neutral Kegel, inhale, spread the shoulders apart and contract the shoulder blades downward to lift the chest forward. Release to neutral and do one more. Inhale in preparation. And then exhale, rounding the spine, lower abs, working through the middle abs, working all the way into the lower ribs to create that deep curve. Moving all the way through the top of the spine. Pausing here, Kegel, and inhale, press into your finger pads. And then exhale, lengthen out. Moving sequentially toward the crown of the head. And there you know what to do. We Kegel, inhale, contract the bottom of the shoulder blades downward, open the top of the chest, and extend the upper spine. Let that go. And then return to lying down on your back. Have your ball nearby, but don't put it between your inner thighs. We're going to move into some tabletop work. You can have your weights nearby as well if you decide you want to use them in the arm work we do here. Thin layer of mat underneath the head is okie dokie, so feel free to use that. Do have parallel neutral legs as well as neutral spine. Inhale, feeling Kegel lift inward as the breath moves downward. And then exhale, make your imprint, applying your inner thigh mobility and awareness to your lower ab contraction. Don't tighten up your neck or the top of the shoulder blades. Take a moment here, inhaling and exhaling, stretching from your center point through your length and widening across the back. And then inhale, come up onto the balls of the feet, lifting your heels. Exhale, push off of one big toe and lift the leg into tabletop. Kegel, inhale, and then exhale, push off the other big toe and lift that leg as well. Squeeze the legs together. Lay your arms down by your sides, palms up and shoulders open. As you squeeze the inner thighs, exhale and contract the lower abs, lengthen through your tail and pull your knees towards your chest with your lower abs. Inhale, lengthen the back of the pelvis, Kegel, return to more or less a tabletop position. And then repeat that 2 more times. Exhale, squeezing inner thighs, opening the chest, contracting low belly inward. Kegel, lengthen the tail. Inhale, return to neutral. Keep it out of your neck. Do 1 more time, remembering to release length through your crown, as well as down through the base of the pelvis. And then return into tabletop. Hands under the back of your head. Stretching through the lats, releasing through that area of the shoulder blades. Know that we're going to work the abs to bend the spine. Think of cat stretch. This is as though we just bent the bottom part of the spine. We'll nod the head and now exhale, bend through the middle of the spine and on up, completing that spooky cat curve using the abs, opening the chest. Inhale here and exhale, lower down. A total of 5, please. Inhale, nod the head, continuing the stretch through the lower back, all the way through the bottom ribs, all the way through the top of the head. Inhale, exhale and lower. Continue. After you've lowered the last time, bring your knees in. Let your belly muscles relax and rock a little bit. You can make circles if you like, you know this. You just do a little release for both the abs and the low back. We are going to do 1 more set of arm work in tabletop. We're going to be looking at opening and closing from the side and then push-ups, right? So looking at that lateral or sidewards relationship across the shoulder girdle, we think of the chest and the shoulder blades as being in balance. All right, so I'm going to find my weights before I place the legs in tabletop so I know I'm good there. And then inhale, Kegel, and feel a lengthening under the back of your pelvis. Exhale, reach from your center point and lengthen through your crown as you squeeze your inner thighs and place the legs in tabletop. Point your toes. Extend the arms forward and have the inside of the wrists facing each other. Inhale here, Kegel. As you exhale, stretch through your ends and open your arms to the sides. Kegel and inhale, return using the chest muscles to bring the arms to where you started. 5 total. Exhale, open. Kegel, inhale, return. After you bring the arms forward the last time, you'll use your next exhale to pull your knees towards your chest. Turn your wrist in the direction of your toes. Pause here. Inhale and point those toes. Reach the legs back into tabletop. Take a breath, open the chest, and then exhale and bend the elbows. Pull the elbows back to the ground along your sides, apart from your shoulders, and inhale, push the arms forward. Exhale, bend your elbows, and inhale, push. Can you inhale and push the arms forward? Keeping the chest open, a total of 5. Sit your weights down after 5. Palms turn up, and exhale, lower one foot to the ground. Exhale, lower the second foot. Inhale, return through neutral. And exhale, put the ball between the inner thighs. Lower or remove your head mat. 3 hip rolls. Prepare here with an inhale and an exhale. So full cycle of breath, lightly squeezing inner thighs, becoming more and more aware of your feet. Returning to the lower body focus. We kegel and inhale in preparation for movement. And then on the exhale, squeeze inner thighs, press into the big toes as you activate your lower abs and begin to flex the spine like a cat stretch from bottom to top. Now your glutes will start to work pretty much as soon as you lift your hips, but they should really only reach their fullest contribution or strength at the top of your hip extension. We don't want to overshadow the work of the abs or the core. At the top, kegel and inhale, press into your big toes, feel that, and then squeeze the ball and exhale, roll down, softening the back of the ribs along with the spine, falling into the mat a vertebra at a time. Begin to release the glutes little by little, bending through every level of your spine on the way back down. Return through neutral at the bottom. Kegel and inhale. Big toes planted, heels centered. Exhale, squeeze the ball. And lengthening from that centered point in your core, begin to roll up again. As much abs as you can, adding in the glutes. Feeling everything working together at the top. Inhale, keep your kegel. And then exhale, roll down. Bend your ribs with your obliques, not by pressing the shoulders forward or downward. We do a third and final repetition. You know what to do. Prepare in neutral, continue through the last one. Breath in at the top, breath out as you lower. When you've completed your return to ground, put the ball off to the side, stretch your legs out long. Flex and point your feet. It's finally time for us to do a little bit of extension. So we'll be rolling over onto our belly, keeping that extended hip position. Feel as you point and flex your feet that the glutes are helping to stretch the front of the hips and the lower abs are lifting inward. Swish your feet side to side. Keep that feeling of length down the legs, pulling compression out of the low back and waist, and then some circles through the feet. We just want to warm them up because we're going to continue to point them. Then finally, roll over onto your belly. We'll do 2 sets of extensions. The first one from breaststroke prep number 1, position with elbows bent. And the second one from arms to the sides. A little layer of mat under your forehead is nice for head position and the ability to breathe. And then hands up near your shoulders. You'll have them wider and higher, most likely. Place the elbows, the forearms firmly into the ground. And here, as you exhale and prepare, get a whole bunch of things, pardon me, working together. Point your toes, stretch your knees, pull your inner thighs together. Feel your lower abs responding to that. Feel the glutes building into a nice supportive structure pelvically. And then feel length up through the waist into the ribs. Open the chest and the shoulders. Feel the bottom of the shoulder blades. We're going to use them now as we extend. Inhale, open across the shoulder tops. And then exhale, extend the spine. Contracting the bottom of the shoulder blades downward and inward toward the tailbone. Feel a lift and a stretch building in the upward sweep of the front of the body. Inhale here and exhale to return. We do 4, preparing with the breath in and continuing on the breath out. Inhale, find your Kegel. Exhale, feel your stretch. Moving through your set of 4. After lowering from the last one, relax for a moment. Let your legs go a little bit limp and bring your arms down by your sides. Let your shoulders droop forward. We're going to do 3 of breaststroke prep number 2. So many numbers, but catch your breath here first. One more inhale and exhale. And then return to the connection in the lower body, pointing your toes, stretching your knees, finding inner thighs, glutes, lower abs. Inhale, open the shoulders and chest by lifting the arms up along your sides. Use your triceps as you stretch your elbows. Release through the neck, and as you exhale and stretch through your length, come up into a hover, using the extensors at the bottom of the shoulder blades. Hold here, inhale, and exhale to return. Allow the shoulders to relax forward. Stretch through both legs here as you Kegel, as you inhale and lift the arms. Try to balance hips and shoulders and the contribution of the legs to your exhale stretch into extension. Inhale at the top of that extension and exhale to lower. Now there's always something to work on. Go into the final repetition. There's the breath, there's the posture, there's the balance and timing and activation, right? Sometimes it feels like it's hard to get enough repetitions in to reasonably address all the things you could address. But we'll stop with this one. When you've lowered to the ground, relax your arms and your legs, put your hands under your shoulders, come back into shell stretch. As you support lightly with your hands, unshrug your shoulders and find that deepest, most distributed curve in your spine. And then you can play around with it a little bit. We have 2 or 3 rounds of breath, so you can deepen that curve in different levels of the spine for stretch. You can take your arms side to side and move your head and shoulders around. When you're ready to move on, use an exhale to roll up, and please come to a seated position for half rollback. If you want to sit on a blanket or a cushion, I advise it. It's a good way to diminish hip tightness and to really focus on the proper muscles. I'll change my camera angle here a little bit. You can even sit on a chair or low stool. Let me just use my blanket. A ball between the ankles, right? I used to say ball between the knees as well. Like I think Monday I said that. Um, but sometimes in this seated position with the hips flexed, if we squeeze too much through the knees, we get a real triggering through the hip flexors, and I'd like to avoid that. So ball between the ankles allows the feet to ground, allows awareness of that inner line, and ideally doesn't complicate the position with a lot of tension in the front of the hips. Roll the shoulders up and down a couple of times. And then with palms forward, extend the arms forward as well, or palms upward. Move the shoulders forward and back against the ribs, finally centering them. And then extending through the elbows, fire into your triceps, keep that, and turn the wrists, palms down toward the ground. Inhale here. Exhale, aware of inner thighs and active through lower abs. Roll back without sinking or dropping down into the pelvis. Keep reaching up through the crown, and indeed, keep the chest, the shoulders, and the top of the head vertical, the arms parallel to the floor. Inhale here, find your Kegel, and then exhale, grounded through the feet, aware of inner thighs. Bring yourself forward, inner thighs pulling into lower abs. And of course, here I'm talking about deep hip flexors. At the top, Kegel and inhale. Exhale, definitely low abs, those internal obliques as you roll back. That, in addition to core, will move the spine as you continue to remain long and out of compression. Kegel and inhale, open through the chest. And then exhale, inner thighs to lower abs, helping to bring you forward, pelvis coming closer to the femurs. One more of these, please. Inhale in preparation, and exhale, roll back. Almost purely lower abs, but you'll find that at the end of your movement, those side waist muscles, those obliques, the external ones under the ribs, need to work. Inhale here, and exhale, roll it back up. Now, on your inhale, bring hands together to the center of the chest, widen across the collarbones, and on your exhale, roll back again. Lengthening upward as well as downward. We pause here and inhale, and now changing it up. Round the spine forward on exhale, completing your cat stretch curve, low abs into middle back, chest moving forward into the hands without narrowing or collapsing as the forehead comes toward the knees. On your sitting bones, inhale, lengthen upward, and continue through 2 more repetitions. Exhale, lower abs, pelvis rolling through the inner thighs. And don't let your neck tense. Like if you Only move an inch or two in this, that's fine. Stay out of tension here. Inhale, and now exhale. Upper or external obliques connect into the front of the pelvis to bend forward at that deepest part of your middle back. Inhaling up. And for the last one, I'm going to keep kind of quiet. When you feel this. Once you've rolled up, drop your arms down. And if you're sitting up on something, a chair or a mat, or blanket, come back down onto the mat. I'm going to put my mat back in place for the head. We're going to do roll down and up. You can keep the ball between your ankles if you like. We'll stretch the legs out in front. And because as we roll down, we're going into hip extension, look for a little bit of glute activity to help stretch the front of the hips as the spine lays down flat on the floor. If you'd like, you can have weights in the hands, or if you prefer a little assistance, loop a flex band around your feet. So this is one that has a lot of modifiable elements. All right, I'm going to use my weights. And we start in the same position we were with our knees bent for half roll back. So arms extended forward on the sitting bones, kegel, and inhale. On the exhale, active through your inner thighs, wake up the lower abs, and begin pulling the front of the pelvis backward. At a certain point, as you begin to roll onto the back of the pelvis, you're going to want to engage the glutes and press the back of the legs down as you squeeze them in. Returning to the mat, if you'd like, you can extend the arms overhead. That only works if you're not holding a flex band. And then inhale, nod the head, bring the arms forward, kegling here. Exhale, bend. And at a certain point here, just like in hip rolls, you need to let the abs take over and the glutes to subside. You can take it over into a stretch if you like. Inhale, rolling up. And we do 3 more, continuing. And you may have noticed sometimes it takes more than one breath cycle. That's fine. A total of 3. And sitting up. When you've completed your last one, put your arms down and bend your knees. You can cross your legs if you like. You can sit on your blanket if you like. We're going to take a little side stretch here. Let me adjust my camera a bit. And so we've done some pretty intensive work through all the kind of basic movements of the spine. We have yet to address side bending. So let's do it here. Okay. So sitting up, let's just do that. Get the legs out of the way. Feel your sitting bones underneath you and gain a new appreciation for your internal support up and down. Put your left hand down and your right fingertips behind the base of your skull. We did this yesterday in class, so this might seem familiar. Bring the elbow forward and then open the chest wide. On your inhale breath, lift the top elbow up. And on your exhale, lengthen first and then bend sidewards toward the lowered arm, in this case, the left. Now we're resisting a little through the fingertips to keep the right sitting bone grounded, to keep the pelvis centered, and to keep the waist from collapsing. Inhale here, and then exhale, return upright, contracting the open side of the waist. Now, different than you might think, we're going to inhale, bend a little to the left again, and then exhale, contract right side of the waist to return upright. As you go through 3 more repetitions, a total of 5, relax your hips and avoid lifting the right sitting bone. We are assisting with the left arm a little bit, but we're mostly trying to find the muscles around the sides of the waist. I might be doing an extra one. Bring the arm down after you return from the last one. Open it out to the side and now have a twist. We're twisting toward the left and the arms are pretty much framing the left hip. Let the shoulders come to balance, let the hips settle. Have a full breath in and out, feeling that deep twist in the muscles around your midsection. And then release. Other side, obviously, right hand or other hand goes down. Feel balance in the posture. Slip other hand under the base of your skull and close and open the shoulder. When you've got this, Kegel, inhale, adjust the elbow upwards, stretching under here, and then targeting the sides of the waist, we exhale and bend to the right, in this case, to the other side. Make sure you're not twisting, you're not lifting one half of the pelvis. Now inhale here. We're preparing for those little pulses. As you exhale, contract the stretched side of the waist to bring yourself up. And as you inhale, stretch it again. So we're working on flexibility and length as well as strength through these obliques that surround the sides of the waist. This, in theory, if you have any vanity about it, I admit to that, will keep the waist long and lean instead of strong and chunky, right? So we get kind of that golden point where we're live and strong, but not chunky and strong, right? And even if you're not vain at all, after you've done the last one, stretch the arm, we do the twist. Even if you're not interested in the vanity aspects of this all, it feels nice to have spaciousness in your movement. Hold that deep twist, and we're going to build that with a twist as well. It feels nice to have a range of stretch in your muscles. Take a breath in and out, and then return, unwinding. We're going to come onto hands and knees, and so grab anything that you need to do there for wrist comfort, maybe a layer of blanket, right? Maybe blanket under your knees. And let's use the ball between the knees as well. We have been practicing our knee lift, and so we are going to practice it again today because it is in that category of exercises like plank and push-ups that are classically about core stability-wise. Okay, so hands and knees, ball between the knees, but not pressing into the floor, and toes tucked under. Do that arranging through the shoulders, front and back, top to bottom, shifting your weight forward and back until it's settled. True up your tailbone under the base of your skull and press into your finger pads. Activate strength in the palms and the forearms. So finally ready to go, press into your big toes and Kegel as you inhale, lifting support up to meet the breath in your center point. From center point, exhale, stretch. Squeeze the ball, push down into your toes and lift the knees. Hold the lift of the knees. Inhale here. And then exhale and lower. And of course, we're applying all the breath cueing and connections. Inhale in preparation. And then exhale. Don't squeeze your neck or shoulders. Squeeze your inner thighs and press through your toes. Firm and stretched through the sides of the waist as you lift the knees from the mat. Inhale and exhale to lower. Please go through a set of 4. Continue on your own timing. And when you've done 4, put the ball off to the side and sit back into shell. Turn your palms upward. So go a little lower in your shell, honestly, more toward child's pose. And with the palms upward, soften your hands a little bit. Move your fingers around. Rest on your elbows if you can. And then exhale, close the hand into a fist and pull your fist toward the inside of your forearm. You can bend your elbows if you like, bringing your fist to your shoulders, pardon me, and then stretch it out. One more little wrist therapy here. And then place hands to the ground and help yourself roll up. Please lie on your back. Lying on your back, you'll want your ball again. And minimal or absent head mat. Pardon me, you guys. With the ball between the knees or possibly back down between the ankles. We're going to do our shoulder bridge, another version of plank. And if you like additional challenge, you can take your flex band and drape it over the front of your pelvis. Alternatively, you can take your hand weights and just kind of prop the weights on the hip points on the front of the pelvis. So all of this is not to add drama for the back or the shoulders, but simply to add a little challenge for the back of the hips. Plant your feet. Kegel, inhale, don't lift yet. Do exhale and squeeze the ball, releasing neck and shoulders. Make sure you can do that before going further. Inhale, soften and squeeze a little bit. And then the next time you exhale, lift the hips up, squeezing the ball and holding posture. You got to work with the back of the hips and thighs to lift. Don't work with the front of the hips. Lift fully up. See the space in front of you. Gaze neutral. Kegel, inhale. And then exhale, squeeze the ball, release the neck and shoulders, and release the hips downward. Especially as you approach the floor, watch your posture. Inhale at the bottom, Kegel. Exhale, squeeze the ball, and press upward. Use the back of your legs and hips. And I'm repeating it because it's important. If you haul yourself up with the front of your hips, odds are you're going to change your posture. And we really do want to keep neutral for a lot of reasons. I won't wear you out with them right now. But I'm always happy to have a discussion. Do 2 more. At the bottom, that Kegel energy lifting up to meet the inhale. The exhale from your center point, inner thighs, glutes, feet, lifting everything up. Can you stretch long through the sides of the waist? Strong and supported, but not compressed. Now, on the last one, see if you can lift up without overly squeezing the shoulder blades or immobilizing them. Because we're coming up to rest on the top of the ribs, as the ribs lift, right, we're going to roll our weight onto the top of the shoulder blades. Don't try and press the back of the shoulder blades down. Let everything work together as you rise into your position. This is the posture that essentially we want the lower body to walk around in today. Find your feet, exhale and lower. Shoulder blades, shoulder assembly resting easily on the ribs. Ribs connecting easily into the pelvis, pelvis moving easily through the hips. When you're down, put your flex band or weights off to the side, put your ball off to the side. Hug your knees to your chest, please. So rock a little side to side. You'll be in a pretty natural imprint. Go ahead and add length to that. And then we're going to finish with a slow-mo bicycle. Right? We haven't done this before. You can do this with hips in the air, and it's considered an advanced exercise. We're going to take the palms up, arms by the sides, and extend the legs upward, keeping our imprint. Your legs might not get straight. That's fine. Often when you're bicycling, you don't want your legs to get entirely straight either. I want you to begin bicycling forward in space with one leg and then the other. And we've all ridden a bicycle, and so we know how this goes. Now, keeping the imprint and the balance and connection through the posture is super important. We definitely want to release through the hips and the legs. So don't let your legs get too far away from you or feel like the motion gets too chaotic. We bicycle here, moving forward in our mind's eye for about 30 more seconds. Now remember what it feels like to bicycle forward, because after another couple of rounds with each leg, we're going to bring the knees in. Use the squeeze of the inner thighs along with the low ab contraction to support both length and imprint posture. And then stretch the legs upward again. And we bicycle backwards. And don't be afraid to have a little fun with it, right? Take your gaze forward to the ceiling. Bicycling backwards. Now, this is thought to be therapeutic for the legs as well, to be inverted and have that little reversal of circulation's relationship to gravity. So all sorts of ways that this is supposed to be re-energizing for your lower body, but also for the rest of you. Close your eyes and breathe. I'm going to keep quiet for the last half minute here. Two more long, slow rounds of inhale and exhale. No tug or strain against the shoulders or the back of the neck. And if your bicycle's not perfect, don't worry. Stretch the legs up, shake out your feet. Bend your knees, hug them to your chest. Nod your chin downward, keep your head on the floor. Rock side to side briefly, but then pretty quickly lower a foot at a time to the ground. With the feet on the ground, allow the pelvis to return to a neutral, opening up through the hip area as you slide legs long. 3 rounds of breath here just to finish. Inhaling and exhaling slowly and gently. And then after that last round of breath, allow your eyes to open. Soften your face. See the room around you. and stay in this nice state of connection. You can stay on the floor as well as you want. If you want, I'm going to move on and stop the recording. Thanks so much for coming to class today.
Thanks.
And you're welcome for letting me work out with you. We'll see you next time. Have a good day. Bye bye.